The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has distanced himself from the violence in the southeastern part of the country. He vowed that those behind the violence in the names of being an IPOB member would not be spared. Correspondent Koleojo reports that Kanu spoke immediately the court rose on Tuesday after he was denied bail. He noted that the violence persisted because he was behind the bars with the DSS custody. Kanu declared that if released, there would be peace in the entire southeast, adding that anybody committing crime cannot go free.
The rejection of the bail application with sadness. It was unnecessary. We lost an opportunity to commence the process of healing in our land. That bail application would have opened door of opportunity that would have brought stability in our place and opened door for conversation to resolve all issues that have led us to this point. And it's so painful that this is coming at a time that few weeks ago, the federal government, on its own, in exercise of its constitutional power, discontinued the trump-up criminal charges filed against Sowore, the Attorney General, in exercising those powers under Section 174.
Opportunity that has been missed, that would have been the basis for peace and reconciliation.
Anybody involved in any type of crime in the East cannot go free, and they're doing it because I'm in DSS. That's why if I was said no idiot can try this rubbish, and they know it very well. Like that some people in government are complicit. They are making money with insecurity. They're making money with it. They know now the Kanu'S outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop.
Meanwhile, Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja has refused to admit the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, bail in the terrorism charge against them. The court on Tuesday declined to grant Kanu bail on the ground that he had early application he failed had been refused. Correspondent Koleojo reports that Justice Nyako held that the only option open to Kanu was to have gone to court of appeal to challenge the earlier refusal. The judge also refused to give unfettered access to just anybody to visit Kanu in the custody for security reasons. The federal government, however, objected to the request on ground that Kanu was once granted bail but jumped and fled the country. Justice Nyako asked the defendant to proceed to Court of Appeal to ventilate his anger against the earlier decision of the court rather than coming back with the same request. Meanwhile, the federal government, being represented at the proceedings by Adegboye Gassan, is pressing for opening of the trial in the terrorism charges. Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, led by Aloy Ejimako, faulted the ruling of the court, saying they are being teleguided by the federal government in having fruitful conversation with their client.
That has been missed, that would have been the basis for peace and reconciliation in the Southeast. All the agitations that are happening in the Southeast, all the crime and criminality, banditry, kidnapping that are happening in the Southeast is because of the continued detention of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. A lot of people are using his name to commit all these crimes and criminality. The peace in the Southeast, or peace in Nigeria, cannot go anywhere without the unconditional release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu.
Presidential candidate, and as a traditional, the president of traditional authority, I am saying it is about time that the young man is allowed to go home, because allowing him to go home cannot cause any more problem. The way it is, I am optimistic and I'm hopeful.